In a small dusty town surrounded by dry fields and rocky hills, there lived a boy named Arjun. He was just 13 years old but had already seen more hardships than most people experience in a lifetime. His family was poor, so poor that sometimes they went to bed hungry. Arjun's father worked as a laborer at a construction site, but the pay was never enough to cover their basic needs. His mother stitched clothes for neighbors, earning a few coins here and there. Despite their struggles, Arjun had a heart full of hope and dreams. He believed that good things would come if he stayed honest and kind. Every day after school, Arjun walked home along the cracked roads of his town. The journey wasn't long, but it gave him time to think about his life. He often wondered what it would be like to live without worrying about food or money. Sometimes he imagined himself as a hero in one of the stories he read in school books. Someone who could change not only his own life but also the lives of others. But for now, reality kept him grounded. Reality was the patched-up shoes on his feet, the torn bag slung over his shoulder, and the empty stomach that growled quietly as he hurried home. One sunny afternoon, as Arjun made his way back from school, something unusual caught his eye near the bus stop. It was a sleek black wallet lying on the ground, half hidden under a pile of dried leaves. At first, Arjun thought it might belong to someone waiting for the bus, so he glanced around to see if anyone was looking for it. But the street was almost deserted, save for a stray dog sniffing through garbage nearby. Curiosity tugged at him, and he bent down to pick it up. The wallet felt heavy in his hands, which surprised him. When he opened it, his eyes widened in shock. Inside were thick stacks of cash, more money than Arjun had ever seen in his entire life. There were crisp bills neatly arranged in compartments, along with shiny credit cards and an identification card bearing the name Vin Diesel. The name didn't mean much to Arjun. He wasn't familiar with Hollywood stars or blockbuster movies. All he knew was that this wallet belonged to someone important, and someone who must be very worried about losing it. For a moment, Arjun stood frozen, staring at the contents of the wallet. His mind raced with possibilities. With this kind of money, he could buy food for his family for months. He could replace his father's broken tools, get new clothes for his younger sister, and maybe even pay off some of their debts. No one would ever know. It wasn't like anyone was watching him right now. The temptation was strong, gnawing at the edges of his conscience. But then, another thought crossed his mind. What if the person who lost this wallet needed the money more than he did? What if they were counting on it to feed their own family or pay for something urgent? Arjun remembered the values his parents had taught him, to always do the right thing even when it was hard. Taking the money would make life easier for him and his family, but it wouldn't feel right. Deep down, he knew honesty was worth more than any amount of cash. With a deep breath, Arjun decided what he had to do. He would return the wallet to its rightful owner. But how? There was no address inside, just the ID card and a few business cards with unfamiliar names. After thinking for a while, Arjun remembered seeing posters around town advertising a car show featuring Vin Diesel earlier that week. A local event organizer's contact number was printed at the bottom of one of those posters. Maybe, just maybe, that person could help him track down the wallet's owner. Clutching the wallet tightly, Arjun ran home to fetch his phone. His hands trembled as he dialed the number listed on the poster. On the other end of the line, a man answered, sounding distracted and busy. "Hello?" he said briskly. Hello, sir," Arjun began hesitantly. "I found a wallet today. It has Vin Diesel's name on it. I think it might belong to him." There was a pause on the other end. Then the man laughed, clearly skeptical. "You're telling me you found Vin Diesel's wallet?" he asked, disbelief lacing his tone. "Yes, sir," Arjun replied firmly. "It has his ID and everything. I want to return it to him." The man sighed, still sounding unconvinced. "Okay, kid. Where are you? Let's meet somewhere and we'll sort this out." They agreed to meet at a cafe near the town square later that evening. As Arjun hung up the phone, his heart pounded with anticipation. He didn't know what to expect, but he felt proud of himself for doing the right thing. Little did he know, this simple decision would change his life forever. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the town, Arjun made his way to the cafe. The streets were quieter now, and the air carried a faint chill. He clutched the wallet tightly in his hand, rehearsing what he would say when he met the organizer. Would they believe him? Would they actually help him find Vin Diesel? Questions swirled in his mind, but he pushed them aside, focusing instead on the task ahead. When he arrived at the cafe, he noticed a group of people gathered outside, chatting excitedly. Some held cameras while others carried notebooks and pens. It didn't take long for Arjun to realize that Vin Diesel was expected to appear at the event tonight. His heart skipped a beat. Was it possible that the famous actor would be here in person? If so, returning the wallet directly to him would make things much simpler. As Arjun waited nervously, the crowd grew larger and louder. Suddenly, a black SUV pulled up to the curb, and out stepped Vin Diesel himself, accompanied by security guards and flashes of camera lights. The actor looked every bit as imposing as his screen persona, with broad shoulders and a confident stride. Yet there was something approachable about him, a warmth in his smile that put people at ease. Arjun watched in awe as Vin greeted fans and posed for pictures. The actor seemed genuinely happy to connect with his admirers, signing autographs and shaking hands. For a moment, Arjun doubted whether approaching him was such a good idea. What if Vin didn't have time for him? What if he thought Arjun was just another fan seeking attention? But then the organizer spotted Arjun standing awkwardly near the entrance and waved him over. "Hey, Vin," the man said, gesturing toward the boy. "This is the kid who found your wallet." Vin turned to look at Arjun, his expression softening. "You found my wallet?" he asked, his voice deep and rich with curiosity. Arjun nodded shyly, holding out the wallet. "Yes, sir. I found it near the bus stop today. I wanted to return it to you." Vin took the wallet, flipping it open to check its contents. His eyes widened in surprise as he saw that everything was untouched, the cash, the cards, all exactly as he'd left them. For a moment, he simply stared at the boy before him, unable to speak. Then slowly, tears began to well up in his eyes. Vin Diesel's eyes glistened as he looked at Arjun, the boy who had just handed him back his wallet. It wasn't just the money inside that moved him. It was the sheer honesty and selflessness of the act. Here was a child, dressed in worn-out clothes, with patched-up shoes and a backpack that had clearly seen better days. Yet, despite his obvious struggles, he had chosen to do the right thing. You didn't take anything?" Vin asked softly, his voice thick with emotion. Arjun shook his head, his brown eyes wide and earnest. "No, sir. It's not mine to take." The actor blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears. He had traveled the world, met countless fans, and experienced moments of fame and fortune that most people could only dream of. But nothing, not awards, not accolades, had ever touched him as deeply as this moment. In a world where greed often overshadowed integrity, here was a boy who reminded him what true goodness looked like. Unable to contain his emotions any longer, Vin knelt down to Arjun's level and pulled the boy into a tight hug. The crowd around them fell silent, watching the unexpected exchange with awe. Cameras clicked furiously, capturing every second of the heartfelt moment. When Vin finally released Arjun, he placed a firm hand on the boy's shoulder and said, "Thank you. You've done something truly incredible today." Arjun shifted uncomfortably under the sudden attention. He hadn't expected this kind of reaction. All he had wanted was to return the wallet and go home. But now, surrounded by reporters and fans, he felt both proud and overwhelmed. People began clapping, their applause echoing through the cafe. Someone even shouted, "What a hero," which made Arjun blush furiously. Vin stood up, addressing the growing crowd. "This young man has shown us all what it means to be honorable," he said, his voice steady but filled with admiration. In a time when so many might have kept the wallet for themselves, he chose to do the right thing. That takes courage, and I am deeply grateful. The audience erupted into cheers once again, some whistling and others wiping away tears. Reporters jostled closer, eager to capture quotes from Vin and perhaps even interview Arjun. But before they could bombard the boy with questions, Vin raised a hand to silence them. "Hold on," he said firmly. Then, turning back to Arjun, he added, "Is there anything I can do for you? Anything at all?" The question hung in the air, heavy with possibility. Arjun hesitated, his mind racing. This was his chance to ask for something, anything, that could change his life. He could request money for his family, new clothes, or maybe even a scholarship to continue his education. These thoughts swirled in his head, each one tempting in its own way. Yet none of them felt quite right. After a long pause, he finally spoke, his voice soft but clear. "Can you teach me how to be strong like you?" The simplicity of Arjun's request stunned everyone present, including Vin himself. For a moment, the actor stood frozen, unsure how to respond. He had expected the boy to ask for material things, money, gifts, or favors. Instead, Arjun's wish was pure and profound. Strength wasn't something Vin associated with wealth or fame. It was about resilience, character, and the ability to face challenges without losing hope. A slow smile spread across Vin's face as he processed the depth of Arjun's words. Kneeling down again, he rested a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You already are strong," he said gently. "What you did today proves it. Real strength isn't about muscles or power. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard. And trust me, you've got that in spades." The crowd murmured, approvingly, touched by the sincerity of the interaction. Reporters scribbled notes furiously, capturing every word. One journalist stepped forward and asked Vin, "What will you do next? Will you help this boy further?" Vin glanced at Arjun, who was still standing quietly, clutching his tattered bike. "Absolutely," he replied without hesitation. Turning back to the boy, he added, "I'll make sure your family is taken care of. But more importantly, I'll stay in touch. You've inspired me today, and I want to help you reach your full potential." As the evening drew to a close, Vin arranged for Arjun and his family to meet with him privately the following day. He promised to discuss ways he could support them, ensuring their basic needs were met. Meanwhile, news of Arjun's noble act spread like wildfire. Local newspapers published articles about the boy who returned a celebrity's wallet, highlighting his humility and moral fiber. Social media buzzed with praise, and soon, people from all over the country were talking about him. Back at home, Arjun's parents were astonished when they heard the story. They had always taught their children the importance of honesty, but they never imagined it would lead to such an extraordinary outcome. His mother hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face. "We're so proud of you," she whispered. "You've made us proud." The next morning, Vin kept his promise. He visited Arjun's modest home, bringing with him not only financial assistance but also a sense of genuine care and concern. He spent hours talking to Arjun and his family, learning about their struggles and dreams. Vin shared stories from his own childhood, recounting how he too had grown up in difficult circumstances. He spoke about the value of perseverance, explaining that success wasn't measured by wealth or fame, but by the impact one had on others. Arjun listened intently, soaking up every word. For the first time in his life, he felt seen and valued, not because of what he owned or achieved, but because of who he was. Vin's presence gave him a renewed sense of purpose, inspiring him to work harder and dream bigger. Over the weeks that followed, Vin remained actively involved in Arjun's life. He helped enroll the boy in a better school, provided resources for his education, and encouraged him to pursue his interests. More than anything, Vin became a mentor to Arjun, teaching him lessons that extended far beyond academics. He emphasized the importance of staying grounded, treating others with kindness, and believing in oneself even during tough times. Word of Vin's generosity reached the wider community, sparking a wave of goodwill. Local organizations began offering support to families in need, inspired by the actor's example. Strangers sent letters and gifts to Arjun, expressing their admiration for his actions. Some even offered scholarships or job opportunities to his parents, easing their financial burdens. Despite the newfound attention, Arjun remained humble. He continued attending school, excelling in his studies, and earning respect from teachers and classmates alike. Whenever people asked him about Vin Diesel, he smiled shyly and said, "He taught me that real strength comes from within, and that's something no amount of money can buy." As months passed, Arjun's life transformed in ways he never thought possible. His family moved into a small but comfortable home thanks to Vin's help. His father found steady work, and his mother started a small tailoring business. Arjun himself blossomed into a confident young man, driven by the values Vin had instilled in him. Though fame and fortune now surrounded him, he stayed true to his roots, remembering the lessons he had learned. Little did Arjun know, his simple act of returning a lost wallet would leave an indelible mark, not just on his own life, but on the lives of everyone fortunate enough to hear his story. His courage and honesty became a beacon of hope, reminding people that even in the darkest times, goodness could shine through. The months following Vin Diesel's visit to Arjun's home brought about a series of changes that transformed not only Arjun's life, but also the lives of those around him. The actor didn't just stop at providing financial assistance, he became a guiding figure in Arjun's journey, offering wisdom and encouragement whenever it was needed. For Arjun, this newfound relationship with Vin felt like having a second father, a mentor who believed in him unconditionally and pushed him to dream bigger than he ever thought possible. Every weekend, Vin would call Arjun to check on his progress. Sometimes they talked about schoolwork or future goals. Other times they discussed life's challenges, how to handle bullies at school, how to stay focused when things got tough, and how to balance ambition with humility. These conversations were more valuable to Arjun than anything material Vin could have given him. They taught him resilience, patience, and the importance of staying true to himself. One day, during one of their calls, Vin asked Arjun, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Arjun hesitated before answering. He had thought about this question many times, but now with Vin asking, it felt different. Finally, he said, "I want to help people. I don't know exactly how yet, but I want to make a difference." Vin smiled, on the other end of the line. "That's a great goal," he replied. "Helping others is one of the most rewarding things you can do. And trust me, no matter what path you choose, if your heart is in the right place, you'll find a way to make an impact." Inspired by these words, Arjun began exploring ways he could contribute to his community. He noticed that many children in his neighborhood couldn't afford books or supplies for school. With Vin's support, he started collecting donated materials and distributing them to families in need. At first, it was just a small effort, a few notebooks and pencils here and there. But soon, word spread and people from nearby towns began contributing as well. Seeing Arjun's initiative, Vin decided to take things a step further. He arranged for a local library to partner with Arjun's project, ensuring that underprivileged kids had access to reading materials year-round. The library even set up a special section called Arjun's Corner, dedicated to inspiring young readers. It was a small gesture, but it meant the world to Arjun. Knowing that his efforts were making a tangible difference filled him with pride and purpose. Meanwhile, Arjun's story continued to inspire people far beyond his town. News outlets across the country picked up on the tale of the boy who returned Vin Diesel's wallet, turning it into a symbol of hope and integrity. Social media platforms buzzed with posts praising Arjun's honesty. Memes featuring his photo popped up online, accompanied by captions like "Real heroes wear torn shoes and honesty still exists." People marveled at how such a simple act of kindness could resonate so deeply in a world often dominated by negativity. One day, while scrolling through his phone, Arjun came across a video posted by a popular YouTuber. The video featured interviews with random strangers discussing what they admired most about Arjun's actions. Some praised his courage, while others highlighted his selflessness. One woman tearfully admitted, "If everyone was like Arjun, the world would be a better place." Watching the video left Arjun speechless. He hadn't realized the extent to which his story had touched people. For the first time, he understood the ripple effect of doing good. It wasn't just about helping one person or solving one problem. It was about inspiring others to act with kindness too. Encouraged by this realization, Arjun decided to share his experiences directly with the public. Vin helped him organize a small event where Arjun spoke to students from nearby schools about the importance of honesty and perseverance. Standing on stage, microphone in hand, Arjun felt nervous but determined. He recounted the day he found the wallet, his decision to return it, and how meeting Vin Diesel had changed his life. His speech wasn't polished or rehearsed, but it was heartfelt, and that made all the difference. As Arjun spoke, the room fell silent. Children listened intently, their eyes glued to the boy standing before them. Teachers nodded approvingly, impressed by his maturity and clarity of thought. When he finished, the audience erupted into applause, cheering loudly. Several students approached him afterward, asking questions and expressing admiration. One girl shyly handed him a note that read, "Thank you for reminding us that we can all be heroes." While Arjun's fame grew, he remained grounded, thanks largely to Vin's constant reminders to stay humble. Success isn't about how many people know your name, Vin often told him. It's about how many lives you touch along the way. These words became Arjun's mantra, guiding him through moments when the attention threatened to overwhelm him. Despite the spotlight, Arjun faced challenges too. Not everyone approved of his sudden rise to prominence. Some classmates teased him, accusing him of seeking fame or acting superior. Others resented the fact that he received help from a celebrity. At first, these comments hurt Arjun deeply. He wondered if he should retreat from the public eye and focus solely on his studies, but Vin encouraged him to persevere. Criticism is part of life, Vin explained during one of their calls. You can't please everyone, and that's okay. What matters is knowing why you're doing what you're doing. If your intentions are pure, then let the haters talk. Their words don't define you, you do. With Vin's advice in mind, Arjun learned to ignore the negativity. Instead, he channeled his energy into helping others, focusing on the positive impact he could create. Slowly but surely, even some of his critics began to soften, recognizing the sincerity behind his actions. As time went on, Arjun's bond with Vin deepened. The actor treated him like family, inviting him to events and introducing him to friends in the entertainment industry. Through these connections, Arjun gained exposure to opportunities he never dreamed of. He attended film screenings, met directors, and even participated in charity projects alongside Vin. Each experience broadened his horizons, teaching him valuable lessons about teamwork, creativity, and leadership. One memorable occasion was a charity gala hosted by Vin to raise funds for underprivileged children. Arjun was invited as a guest speaker, tasked with sharing his story once again. This time, however, the audience included celebrities, business leaders, and philanthropists. As Arjun stepped onto the grand stage, surrounded by glittering chandeliers and elegantly dressed attendees, he felt a mix of excitement and nerves. But when he began speaking, his voice steady and sincere, the room grew quiet. "I'm just a regular boy from a small town," he started, his gaze sweeping across the crowd. "I didn't do anything extraordinary. I simply returned a wallet because it was the right thing to do. But that one decision opened doors I never imagined. It taught me that even the smallest acts of kindness can lead to big changes." His speech ended with a standing ovation, leaving many in tears. A billionaire entrepreneur approached him afterward, pledging to fund scholarships for children in Arjun's community. Another donor promised to build a new playground near Arjun's school. By the end of the night, Arjun realized that his story had become a catalyst for generosity, inspiring others to give back in meaningful ways. Through it all, Arjun never forgot where he came from. Every evening, after finishing his homework, he would sit with his parents and share stories about his day. His father often joked, "Our son is becoming famous, but he still eats rice and dal with us." Laughter filled their home, a stark contrast to the hardships they had endured in the past. Arjun's mother, meanwhile, took immense pride in her son's achievements. She often reminded him, Never forget the values we taught you. Honesty, hard work, and kindness. They're the foundation of everything you've built. And she was right. No matter how much his circumstances changed, Arjun stayed rooted in those principles. He knew that his journey wasn't just about personal success. It was about using his platform to uplift others and prove that goodness always prevails. As Arjun grew older, his connection with Vin Diesel continued to shape his life in profound ways. The actor wasn't just a mentor anymore. He had become a pillar of support, guiding Arjun through the ups and downs of adolescence. Together, they worked on projects that combined Arjun's passion for helping others with Vin's resources and influence. Their partnership blossomed into something extraordinary, a collaboration built on trust, mutual respect, and shared values. One summer, Vin invited Arjun to join him on a trip to a remote village in India as part of a charity initiative aimed at improving education for underprivileged children. For Arjun, this was more than just an opportunity to travel. It was a chance to witness firsthand the challenges faced by communities similar to his own. He eagerly accepted the invitation, excited yet nervous about what lay ahead. The journey began early one morning when Arjun boarded a private jet arranged by Vin. It was Arjun's first time flying, and he couldn't help but marvel at the luxury surrounding him. Plush leather seats, gourmet meals, and friendly attendants made the experience feel surreal. But despite the comfort, Arjun felt uneasy. He worried that people might see him differently now, that they might think he'd forgotten his roots after being associated with someone as famous as Vin Diesel. Sensing his discomfort, Vin leaned over and said, "You belong here, Arjun. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. You earned this, not because of me, but because of who you are." Those words reassured Arjun, easing the knot in his stomach. By the time the plane landed, he was ready to face whatever came next. The village they visited was nestled deep. Within lush green hills, its beauty marred only by signs of poverty. The roads were unpaved, houses were constructed from mud and tin sheets, and electricity was scarce. Children played barefoot in dusty courtyards, their laughter echoing through the air despite the hardships they faced. Seeing this reminded Arjun of his own childhood, stirring emotions he thought he had left behind. Vin introduced Arjun to the local school principal, a kind woman named Mrs. Kapoor, who ran the institution with limited resources. She explained how difficult it was to provide quality education without proper funding or materials. Many students dropped out early to help their families earn a living, while those who stayed often struggled to keep up due to outdated textbooks and overcrowded classrooms. Moved by her dedication, Arjun spent hours interacting with the children, listening to their dreams and aspirations. Some wanted to be doctors, others engineers, and a few simply wished for enough food to eat every day. Each story touched Arjun deeply, reinforcing his belief that education could change lives. Inspired by the visit, Vin announced plans to renovate the school and supply it with modern equipment. He also pledged scholarships for top-performing students, ensuring they wouldn't have to abandon their studies due to financial constraints. As part of the project, Arjun was tasked with overseeing the implementation, working closely with Mrs. Kapoor and local authorities. For weeks, Arjun immersed himself in the work, traveling back and forth between the village and his hometown. He coordinated deliveries of books, computers, and furniture, making sure everything arrived on time. He organized workshops for teachers, teaching them innovative methods to engage students, and most importantly, he spent time with the kids, encouraging them to believe in themselves and their potential. When the renovated school finally opened its doors, the entire community gathered to celebrate. Parents wept tears of joy, grateful for the opportunities their children would now have. Students beamed with excitement, eager to explore their new classrooms and learn in an environment designed to inspire. Standing amidst the crowd, Arjun felt a surge of pride unlike anything he'd ever experienced. This wasn't just another milestone, it was proof that his efforts mattered. Back home, news of the successful project spread quickly, earning Arjun even more recognition. Local newspapers hailed him as a role model, while social media users praised his commitment to giving back. Invitations poured in from organizations seeking his involvement in various causes. From environmental campaigns to anti-bullying initiatives, Arjun found himself at the center of a growing movement inspired by his actions. Despite the accolades, Arjun remained humble, always crediting Vin for setting him on this path. "None of this would have been possible without him," he often said during interviews. "He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and he showed me that kindness has the power to transform lives, including mine." Vin, for his part, continued to champion Arjun's growth. He encouraged the boy to pursue higher education, promising to fund his college tuition if needed. "Education is your ticket to freedom," Vin told him. "It'll give you the tools to achieve your dreams and make a real difference in the world." Motivated by these words, Arjun threw himself into his studies, determined to excel academically. He spent long nights poring over textbooks, attended extra coaching classes, and sought guidance from teachers whenever he encountered difficulties. His hard work paid off when he secured admission to a prestigious university, becoming the first person in his family to attend college. On the day he received his acceptance letter, Arjun's parents threw a small celebration. Neighbors joined in, congratulating the family on their son's achievement. As fireworks lit up the night sky, Arjun looked around at the smiling faces and felt overwhelmed with gratitude. He knew none of this would have happened without his decision to return that wallet all those years ago. University life brought new challenges and experiences for Arjun. Surrounded by peers from diverse backgrounds, he initially felt out of place. Many of his classmates came from affluent families, fluent in English and accustomed to privileges he had never known. At times, self-doubt crept in, making him question whether he truly belonged. But Vin's voice echoed in his mind during moments of uncertainty. "You earned this not because of me, but because of who you are." Drawing strength from those words, Arjun pushed forward, refusing to let fear hold him back. He joined student clubs, participated in debates, and volunteered for campus outreach programs. Slowly but surely, he carved out a space for himself, earning the respect of both professors and classmates. One particularly memorable event occurred during his second year when Arjun was selected to deliver a keynote speech at a leadership conference hosted by the university. The theme of the conference was empathy in action, and Arjun's story served as the perfect example. As he stood before hundreds of attendees, sharing his journey from a poor boy returning a wallet to a young man striving to make a difference, the audience listened in rapt silence. "I learned early on that success isn't measured by wealth or fame," Arjun said, his voice steady and sincere. "It's measured by the impact you have on others. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, creates ripples that can touch countless lives. So my advice to all of you is simple. Be kind, be courageous, and never underestimate the power of doing the right thing." His speech ended with a standing ovation, leaving many in tears. A professor approached him afterward saying, "Your story will stay with us forever. Thank you for reminding us what true leadership looks like." While Arjun thrived in his academic pursuits, he never lost sight of his roots. During holidays, he returned to his hometown, spending time with his family and continuing his charitable work. He expanded his book donation program, reaching villages far beyond his own. He collaborated with NGOs to organize health camps, providing free medical checkups and medicines to underserved communities. And he mentored younger students, offering guidance and encouragement based on his own experiences. Through it all, Arjun carried Vin's teachings with him, lessons about resilience, humility, and the importance of staying grounded. He understood that his journey wasn't just about personal success. It was about using his platform to uplift others and prove that goodness always prevails. As he looked toward the future, Arjun felt a sense of purpose unlike anything he'd ever known. He didn't know exactly where life would take him, but he was certain of one thing. No matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with courage and integrity, the same qualities that had guided him since the day he found that wallet. As Arjun stepped deeper into his university years, the lessons he had learned from Vin Diesel began to manifest in ways that shaped not only his career, but also his character. The actor's influence extended far beyond material support. It was rooted in the values of perseverance, empathy, and humility. These principles became the foundation upon which Arjun built his life, guiding him through challenges and inspiring him to create meaningful change. One of the most transformative periods of Arjun's university journey came when he joined a BIKE student-led initiative focused on bridging the gap between rural and urban education. The project aimed to bring technology and modern teaching methods to schools in remote areas, ensuring that children from marginalized communities had access to quality learning resources. For Arjun, this was more than just an academic endeavor. It was personal. He saw glimpses of his own childhood in the faces of the students they worked with, and he poured his heart into every aspect of the program. The team traveled to villages across the country, setting up digital classrooms equipped with tablets, projectors, and internet connectivity. They trained teachers to use these tools effectively, emphasizing interactive and engaging teaching methods. Arjun often took the lead during workshops, sharing stories from his own life to connect with the educators and motivate them. "If I can make it this far despite my struggles," he would say, "imagine what your students can achieve if given the right opportunities." His words resonated deeply with the teachers, many of whom were inspired by his sincerity and determination. Word of the initiative spread quickly, drawing attention from local media outlets and government officials. Soon, other universities expressed interest in collaborating, turning the project into a nationwide movement. By the end of his third year, Arjun had helped establish over 50 digital classrooms, impacting thousands of students. But success didn't come without obstacles. Funding was a constant challenge, requiring Arjun and his team to organize fundraisers, pitch ideas to potential sponsors, and navigate bureaucratic red tape. There were days when progress seemed painfully slow, and moments when setbacks threatened to derail their efforts entirely. Yet Arjun refused to give up. He reminded himself of Vin's advice. Every great achievement requires patience and persistence. Keep pushing forward, even when it feels impossible. During one particularly grueling phase, when donations dried up and equipment deliveries were delayed, Arjun reached out to Vin for guidance. The actor listened intently before offering practical solutions and a dose of encouragement. "You're doing incredible work, Arjun," Vin said. "Remember, every problem has a solution. Stay calm, think creatively, and trust your instincts. You've got this." With renewed determination, Arjun rallied his team, brainstorming innovative ways to overcome the hurdles they faced. They launched a crowdfunding campaign, appealing directly to individuals who believed in their mission. To everyone's surprise, the response was overwhelming. Donations poured in from all corners of the globe, including contributions from celebrities and philanthropists inspired by Arjun's story. Within weeks, the project was back on track, stronger than ever. By the time Arjun graduated, he had earned not only a degree but also a reputation as a changemaker. His dedication to improving education for underprivileged children caught the eye of prominent organizations, leading to job offers from prestigious companies and nonprofits. However, Arjun knew exactly where he wanted to focus his energy next, starting his own foundation dedicated to empowering youth through education and mentorship. He named it Sankalp, meaning resolve or promise in Hindi. The name symbolized his commitment to creating opportunities for those who lacked access to basic resources. With Vin's backing, Arjun set up offices in several cities, hiring passionate individuals who shared his vision. Together, they designed programs tailored to address specific needs within different communities, ranging from literacy campaigns to vocational training workshops. One of Sankalp's flagship initiatives was a mentorship program pairing successful professionals with young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. The goal was to provide guidance and inspiration, helping participants navigate the complexities of adulthood while pursuing their dreams. Arjun personally mentored dozens of students, drawing from his own experiences to offer advice and support. Many of them went on to secure scholarships, land internships, and even start businesses of their own. The impact of Sankalp rippled outward, touching lives far beyond its immediate beneficiaries. Parents reported seeing positive changes in their children, greater confidence, improved grades, and a renewed sense of purpose. Teachers noticed increased engagement in classrooms, with students eager to learn and ask questions. Even local economies benefited as educated youth returned to their communities, bringing fresh ideas and skills. Arjun's efforts did not go unnoticed. He received numerous awards for his contributions to social welfare, including recognition from national leaders and international organizations. Yet he remained humble, always redirecting praise toward his team and the communities they served. "I'm just one person," he often said. "The real heroes are the teachers, parents, and volunteers who work tirelessly every day to build a better future." Despite his growing responsibilities, Arjun made it a point to stay connected with Vin, who continued to play a vital role in his life. Their relationship evolved from mentorship to friendship, with both men cherishing the bond they had formed. Vin visited Arjun whenever his busy schedule allowed, attending events hosted by Sankalp and meeting the people whose lives had been transformed by the Foundation's work. On one such occasion, Vin accompanied Arjun to a village where Sankalp had recently opened a community center. The facility offered free tutoring, computer classes, and art workshops for children and teenagers. As they walked through the bustling space, Vin marveled at how much Arjun had accomplished since their first meeting. "You've created something truly remarkable here," he said, clapping Arjun on the shoulder. "I couldn't be prouder of you." Tears welled up in Arjun's eyes as he replied, "None of this would have been possible without you, Vin. You gave me hope when I needed it most, and now I get to pass that hope on to others. Thank you for everything." The visit culminated in a heartfelt ceremony honoring the village's achievements. Elders spoke about the positive changes they had witnessed since Sankalp's arrival, while children performed songs and skits expressing their gratitude. At the end of the event, Vin addressed the crowd, praising Arjun's leadership and urging everyone to continue supporting the cause. "This is what happens when we invest in our youth," he declared. "They become the torchbearers of tomorrow, lighting the way for generations to come." As Arjun's fame grew, so did the demands on his time. He juggled speaking engagements, fundraising events, and strategy meetings, all while managing the day-to-day operations of Sankalp. It was exhausting work, but he found solace in knowing that his efforts were making a difference. Still, there were moments when the weight of responsibility felt overwhelming. During these times, he turned to Vin for reassurance. "You're carrying a lot on your shoulders," Vin once told him during a late-night call. "But remember, it's okay to lean on others. Surround yourself with people you trust, and don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it." Taking this advice to heart, Arjun delegated tasks more effectively, entrusting key responsibilities to capable members of his team. This allowed him to focus on strategic planning and expanding Sankalp's reach. Under his leadership, the Foundation opened new centers in underserved regions, reaching tens of thousands of beneficiaries annually. Arjun's story continued to inspire people worldwide. Documentaries were made about his journey, capturing the essence of his resilience and compassion. Schools incorporated his tale into their curriculums, using it as a case study on the power of integrity and hard work. Social media buzzed with hashtags like #BeLikeArjun, encouraging users to perform acts of kindness in their daily lives. Yet amidst the accolades and admiration, Arjun remained grounded. He returned to his hometown regularly, spending time with his family and reflecting on how far he had come. Sitting on the porch of his childhood home, watching the sun set behind the hills, he often thought about the boy who had once dreamed of escaping poverty. That boy was still inside him, reminding him never to take anything for granted. "I may have achieved things I never imagined," Arjun mused one evening, "but at the core, I'm still the same person, and that's something I'll never forget." Years passed, and Arjun's journey reached new heights as Sankalp expanded its reach across continents. What had started as a small initiative in his hometown had grown into a global movement, touching millions of lives. The Foundation's programs were now active in over 20 countries, addressing issues ranging from education and healthcare to environmental sustainability and gender equality. Through it all, Arjun remained steadfast in his mission to empower individuals and communities, helping them unlock their full potential. One of the most significant milestones came when Sankalp partnered with international organizations to launch a scholarship fund for underprivileged youth, named the Vin Diesel Arjun Scholarship Program, a nod to the man who had inspired him. It provided financial assistance, mentorship, and career guidance to students pursuing higher education. The program quickly gained traction, attracting applications from talented young minds eager to break free from the cycles of poverty that had held their families captive for generations. Arjun traveled extensively during this period, visiting beneficiaries of the scholarship program and witnessing firsthand the transformative power of education. In Kenya, he met a girl named Amina, whose dream of becoming a doctor seemed impossible until she received funding from Sankalp. In Brazil, he spoke with a boy named Carlos, who was studying engineering despite growing up in a favela with limited opportunities. Each story fueled Arjun's determination to keep pushing forward, reminding him why he had embarked on this path in the first place. During one such trip to South Africa, Arjun found himself standing before a crowd of thousands at a youth empowerment summit. The event brought together leaders, activists, and innovators from around the world, united by a shared vision of creating a brighter future. When it was Arjun's turn to speak, he took the stage with quiet confidence, his voice carrying a message of hope and resilience. "I stand here today not because I'm extraordinary," he began, "but because I believe in the extraordinary potential within each of you. Life may have dealt us difficult cards, but we hold the power to rewrite our stories. Education is the key. Kindness is the bridge, and courage is the fuel that drives us forward." His words resonated deeply, earning him a standing ovation. As he stepped off the stage, a young woman approached him, tears streaming down her face. "Your story gives me strength," she said softly. "Thank you for showing me that no matter where I come from, I can still dream big." Moments like these reaffirmed Arjun's belief in the ripple effect of goodness. Every act of kindness, every effort to uplift someone else, created waves that could travel far beyond what anyone imagined. Back home, Arjun continued to balance his role as founder of Sankalp with his responsibilities as a public figure. He was invited to speak at prestigious forums, including the United Nations and the World Economic Forum, where he advocated for policies aimed at reducing inequality and promoting access to education. His speeches were marked by authenticity and passion, qualities that endeared him to audiences worldwide. Despite his growing influence, Arjun never lost sight of his roots. He returned to his village regularly, ensuring that Sankalp's work there remained strong. The once dusty streets were now lined with solar-powered lamps, thanks to a renewable energy project spearheaded by the foundation. The local school, once a crumbling building, had been transformed into a state-of-the-art facility, complete with science labs, libraries, and sports fields. Children played happily in uniforms bearing the Sankalp logo, their laughter echoing through the air. On one visit, Arjun stopped by his childhood home, now a modest yet comfortable house funded by Vin years ago. Sitting on the porch with his parents, he reflected on how much had changed since the day he found that wallet. "I never thought returning something lost would lead to all this," he said, smiling wistfully. "It's funny how life works, sometimes." His father chuckled, patting him on the back. "You've always been special, son. We knew it from the beginning." As Arjun entered his 30s, he began thinking about the legacy he wanted to leave behind. While Sankalp had achieved remarkable success, he knew the work was far from over. There were still countless children without access to education, families struggling to make ends meet, and communities ravaged by poverty and injustice. Determined to expand the foundation's impact, Arjun launched an ambitious plan to establish Sankalp Innovation Hubs, centers designed to foster creativity and entrepreneurship among young people. These hubs would provide resources like coding, classes, robotics workshops, and design studios, equipping participants with skills needed to thrive in the modern world. They would also serve as incubators for startups, offering mentorship and funding to aspiring entrepreneurs. The first hub opened in Mumbai, drawing hundreds of applicants eager to turn their ideas into reality. Within months, several innovative projects emerged, from eco-friendly packaging solutions to apps addressing social challenges. Vin attended the inauguration ceremony, proudly watching as Arjun cut the ribbon alongside local dignitaries. "You've come so far," Vin said afterward, pulling him aside. "Do you remember the day we first met? You were just a boy with a dream. Look at you now, a leader changing the world." Arjun smiled, feeling a surge of gratitude. "And none of it would have happened without you," he replied. "You taught me that strength isn't about fame or wealth. It's about doing what's right even when it's hard. That lesson has guided me every step of the way." In the years that followed, Arjun's bond with Vin grew stronger than ever. Though their lives were busy, they made time for regular calls and visits, sharing updates and exchanging advice. Vin often joked that Arjun had become the wise one, doling out wisdom he had once imparted. "Guess I finally taught you everything I know," Vin quipped during one conversation. "Now it's your turn to teach others." True to Vin's words, Arjun dedicated himself to mentoring young changemakers, passing on the lessons he had learned. He wrote a memoir titled "The Wallet That Changed My Life," chronicling his journey from a poor boy returning a wallet to a global advocate for education and equality. The book became an instant bestseller, inspiring readers of all ages to embrace honesty, perseverance, and compassion. Through it all, Arjun stayed grounded, remembering the values instilled in him by his parents and reinforced by Vin. He understood that true success wasn't measured by accolades or achievements but by the lives he touched along the way. Whether it was a child learning to read, a teenager launching a startup, or a community coming together to solve a problem, every victory belonged to everyone involved. Today, Arjun's name is synonymous with hope and transformation. His story serves as a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can spark monumental change. From the dusty streets of his hometown to the grand stages of international summits, he has shown the world that integrity and empathy are forces capable of reshaping destinies. As he looks toward the future, Arjun feels a deep sense of fulfillment. He knows there will always be challenges to overcome and battles to fight, but he faces them with unwavering resolve. After all, he carries with him the lessons of a lifetime and the memory of a simple decision that set everything in motion. Life is unpredictable, Arjun often says during interviews, but if you stay true to yourself and commit to doing good, amazing things can happen. So whenever you find yourself at a crossroads, ask yourself, what's the right thing to do? Then do it. Because you never know, the smallest choice might just change the world. And so Arjun's journey continues, an eternal testament to the power of honesty, humility, and the boundless potential within us all.